Hello, everyone, and welcome again to the Unfound Podcast channel on YouTube. I am Unfound's host, Ed Denzel. I hope you will bear with me as I make it through this video. I am not in Florida. I've come up here to see my father and could not bring my tripod with me. So I'm going to have to hold this camera, my phone, as I diagram the important locations for the disappearance of Jennifer Perry and where she could have walked that night that she disappeared. So let's get right into this. You can see here, I first want to show you where Marathon is in relation to Key West and the mainland of Florida. Right in here, I'll just zoom it in like this. You can see that down here to the left, right down here is Key West. And of course, way up here at the top in the upper left or upper right-hand corner is Florida. So I would say that Marathon is about halfway between the mainland and the end of this chain of islands, the Keys, and halfway to Key West. So I'm now going to zoom in a little bit and get down to the three main locations that I believe you need to think about, and just a little bit of the geography of Marathon, Florida. And I'll have you know, before I found out about Jennifer's disappearance, I had never heard of Marathon, Florida. Of course, heard of the Keys, but not Marathon. But I've quickly learned a lot. So what you're looking at here, you can see this very blue line. You should know that Google Maps has changed some of their coloring and things, and it's made these blue dots for meant to explain a walking path, a walking route, a little harder to see. So I'm going to go to this other view for just a moment. Please bear with me. See, that is a lot easier to see. Now, down here over on the left side of the screen is where Sue lived at the time. Down over here. Then in the middle of the screen, this is Sombrero Road, the beach road. This is a location mentioned in the report of where a possibility of where Jennifer could have gone when she ran off. There was a woman there named Miriam, and it sounds to me like Jennifer knew Miriam's son and had gone to this apartment complex called the Eastwood Apartments. I do not know if they are called that in the 21st century or not, but that is that address. And what I noticed very quickly is it's almost halfway between where Sue was living, once again, way over here on the left side of the screen, the west side, and up here on the far reaches of the map, right here on the edge of the screen. That is where Angela was living, 715 105th Street in Marathon. You can also see, zooming in, that walk would take an hour and 51 minutes. And I guess what that means is if Jennifer left this location down here on the left at, let's say 10 after 10, she wouldn't have gotten to her sister's just walking regular pace until about midnight if she went directly there. Now, of course, we don't know what happened. So, but we have to put that, you have to start thinking about, well, if she left, she was planning to go to her sister's, what time was she thinking she would get there? And we have to remember, as was talked about in the interview with Angela, that Jennifer had made this walk before, I guess sometimes because she ran away and arguing with her mother, and I'm guessing other times she just walked it because she wanted to see her sister, for all we know. Either way, I think what it shows here, and this, this is the toughest part of this, is there's only one route, and that is this Route 1. You can see that it is the only road that goes from this side of the screen the whole way up to the other side from the left side of the screen to the right side of the screen, or the west side of Marathon to the east side. So either way, she would have had to have walked on this main route. And just to show you this again, if I could zoom out again, this road that we're talking about is the main road. If you go from the mainland of Florida and you want to go the whole way down to Key West, say start up here, go the whole way down there, that is the road that she would have been walking on that night. Now, I guess there's probably some speed limit on changes. I don't know if it's some of it is 2-lane, some of it is 4-lane, but I'm guessing for the most part it is 2-lane, especially when you're going through these little towns, a town like Marathon, Florida. Now, also what I understand is that moving our attention down to the specific area of where Sue lived at the time, and I'm going to zoom in on that. My understanding is that at the time, Jennifer was down here somewhere, and her mother went down the street to get her to come in. She wouldn't come in. Eventually, if you've looked at the FOIA, you know that Jennifer said something very nasty to her mother and stormed off. And so we must take for granted, you can see here that there's only one way to go, because this area right here is some sort of harbor or for boats or something like that. She would have had to have gone around. She had to have gone up here to the main road. That is the only way to go, to walk away. And so she would have gone up. She would have been walking on this road right there. That is the only path. This is unlike, for example, Leanne Hosberg's disappearance, where she's in New York City. Whether you believe she got in that car or not, or she got on a subway, whatever you believe, it's very obvious that Leanne would have had a lot different routes to take, places to go, modes of transportation in a big city, like New York. In contrast to Marathon, where it's about as limited as you can get. Just one road in and out. One road. And that is how geography, where cities are, where towns are, can mean so much. The population of them can mean so much when we look at disappearances. In general, I guess you could say Leanne's and Jennifer's are the same, but when you really get to the technicalities, they're very different. Because we have to look at them different, because they disappeared from two very different places. So we must then entertain, of course, if we knew what happened, we could just go solve it right now regarding Jennifer's disappearance. But because we know she might have been walking on this main road, Route 1, she could have gotten picked up. She could have gotten abducted. Wrong place, wrong time. Somebody sees her walking, drives by, maybe turns around and does something. Very rare, but there are no facts to dispute that. Despite all these rumors, once again, if you've read the FOIA, then you know how many rumors were circulating around Marathon after Jennifer went missing. Within hours, maybe within a couple days, Derek Freeman and other people allegedly being seen with Jennifer, Shannon and others allegedly seeing her, one of them maybe harboring her, keeping all sorts of different rumors going on. And of course, none of them panning out, despite Deputy Lawson showing up multiple times at these locations to see any trace of Jennifer. So she would have been walking that direction, and something happened. And it very well, maybe she got a ride out of town and she's still alive today under an assumed name. Of course, we almost want to hope that. We certainly don't want to hope that something bad happened to her. Now, you may be thinking, well, look at all this water. What are the odds? What if she was distraught? What if she decided she was going to commit suicide? She had had enough, frustrations with her mother, depressed 13-year-old, going to jump in the water. Being a person who lives on the Gulf is not a fierce body of water. And unless there's a hurricane, of course, Key West gets hurricanes, but there was not a hurricane going on at the time. And I have to believe no matter if Jennifer jumped into the water anywhere around here and tried to swim away, that eventually if she did drown, the current would have eventually brought her back to shore and she would have been found. That is my belief. If she tried to go into the water by choice. The only issue is that there's no proof that she ever did something like that. So I just, there are on one hand, there are a lot of different possibilities that she got picked up by a stranger, that one of these rumors is true, a lot of different possibilities. On the other hand, when looking at the geography, it really limits it as well. It's almost like a little bit of a paradox. So those are the locations, the main 3 locations that are mentioned in the FOIA that possibly where Jennifer could have been going. I could probably pick out where Shannon or Michelle lived at the time, but I just don't know how relevant that is at this point. So these are the main locations that I wanted to pick out. Just wanted to show you Marathon as well. And this should guide you as you try to figure out what happened to Jennifer Perry. I hope you will consider giving this video a thumbs up, subscribing to the channel, the Unfound Podcast channel here on YouTube, and I will talk to you very soon. Thank you for watching.